What up, boys? It's Gaz, and welcome to Warframe video. So, we're going over the Xaku changes that went out with the Mark for Death nerf update, like 2 days ago. So, yeah, we're going to go over it. Going to give some more information on what I think should get still changed with Xaku, because I think, these changes are a good step in the right direction, but Xaku is still not good, so keep that in mind. Make sure you sub this YouTube channel, hit that bell for notifications, and check out the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Gaz_TTV. We actually have a mini Helminth Xaku set up in here as well, but that's not really going to be the main focus of the build and all that stuff. It's just going to be for fun. So, yeah. So some of the things they changed with Xaku after the mini rework is let's quickly. I'm going to show some synergy with Xaku too. So basically, void damage as a whole got buffed, which makes your void damage do a little bit better, I guess. Grasp of Loki got increased. Casting range is now recastable. Also, I believe the cast speed of it got increased, but Xaku's cast times are still complete garbage. For the third ability, the Void Laser got buffed. But honestly, in my opinion, just remove the Void Laser. The Void Laser is still really bad, and it's just annoying to cycle through the third ability. I say just remove the Void Laser straight up. And then the biggest change is for the Vast Untime, the fourth ability for Xaku. So now what happens is it does not drain energy per second anymore. It's just a singular cast of energy. With this build, with no efficiency, 100 energy, it's also going to lock your durations in place for your other abilities. So, for example, if you lock an enemy in place with a gaze, it is going to, I'll just quickly show right here, it's going to lock the ability timer as well. So, frozen in time for 22 seconds. We use our 4. Now it's stuck for 20 seconds. And until this 32-second timer goes to 0, that will not tick down. Unless we deactivate it for some reason. So, yeah, unfortunately you are stuck in skeleton mode, which I don't personally like. There's a Void Beam, by the way. Pretty weak. And, of course, for the other abilities as well, it's going to lock the duration. So that's the best change they've made in this update for Xaku. And there's the guns. I actually kind of like the guns. The Void Damage type change for the guns is pretty nice. And with the Panzer Companion, those Viral procs make it so the guns actually deal decent damage. Like, I was surprised how much damage the guns actually did, and this is with not even too much power strength. So yeah, let's quickly show the build here. Now, I'm aware that I am running 199% power strength, when most people would be like, run 200 for the full armor removal. I'm not doing that because 99% armor reduction is sometimes, in some cases, better than 100% armor reduction because of corrosive damage multipliers. So that's what we're running, is we're running 190. Now, of course, I could form a Xaku again. This second D polarity here is useless. What I would prefer to run is I would prefer to take off Narrow-Minded for prime continuity. Lose a little bit of duration, but you don't need too much duration on the new Xaku setup. And that would let us get 42% more range, which would be really good because the range for Gaze is very important because the base range on Gaze is very low as well. If I were to buff Xaku, I would say increase the range of Gaze. It is extremely tedious to have to look at where this is on the ground. So buffing that would be amazing. The circle radius, that is. And then, like I said, remove the Void Laser. The Void Laser is worthless and is just a pain in the butt to cycle through. The range stat will also increase how many guns you can steal. And the more guns you have, the more damage you're shooting out. So that's pretty nice. Range is very important on Xaku. We can honestly just take this off and see how that works. That will make our fourth ability only last for 20 seconds, which is still fine. So yeah, let's just quickly try that too. I'll show some gameplay. We also have the Helminth Xaku setup I will show you in a moment as well. So let's do the same thing with just more range and take an entire mod off because they have 2 D polarities for some reason. And then I'm going to show some synergy with the Exorcist as well. So we're going to lock them in place with Gaze. 12 seconds, cast our 4. It's locked in place for a while. And we'll steal some guns. And as you see, they get mowed down by the guns. So the guns are pretty good, and that's with 99% armor removal. Alright. We did hit them, to be fair, we did hit them with the 4, the Great Untime, which will make it so the enemies take more damage from Void. So it's not going to always do that much damage. But yeah, range is pretty important for taking all those guns, and that many guns is crazy damage. So maybe in the future I will put a third form on Xaku. Not going for 6 form because, you know, I don't want my opinion to be mattering too much. So we're going to take this polarity off and put a V polarity there for either Intensify or Prime Continuity. So let's show the Helminth Xaku setup real quick. And this is because they actually did a change in the patch note, or they did a change that was not in the patch notes. So What we're going for here is we're going for 200% power strength for the full armor removal here, and we're going for really high range, as high as range as we can jam on here. And this has no defensive mods. As you can see, that's because we have subsumed Quiver from Ivara for invisibility. Now, it's called Beekeeper for a reason. They did change it, so now Xaku can create bee swarms with the Deimos from a petrified enemy. Or rather, a enemy in your gaze. So, get that. All their armor is removed. Now we can spam bee swarms now. This is not in the patch notes. So release the bees. And as you see, like, it's a bee swarm. And you can keep doing that. Like, they're going to keep creating bees. So I actually mentioned that in my previous video, and I'm very happy that they changed that, because I just find that fun. So yeah, something I want to show again with the synergy of some weaponry. Someone in my Discord server told me about this one. So if you use Xaku's first ability, Zata's Whisper, which is subsumable to other frames, and you use the Exorgist, well, like some weapons are just good with mag, you can proc the Void, and then the Void's like a mini mag bubble. And it will sometimes like create some ridiculous slash proc situations. See, right there, they spun around in the bubble. It's not really super applicable. There we go. It worked great there. I tried it with the Sakura Penta, didn't really work out, so I'd say it's not super consistent, but it is at least kind of cool that because I like the Exorcist is my favorite weapon with mag, so you're going to want a little bit of punch through on the build. What's that one called? Seeking Fury should be just enough. That'll give you some reload speed with the Exorcist as well, and yeah. So the Deimos and the Exorcist, good synergy weapons with Xaku, and like I said, I'd say something like this is good. If you want to do full armor removal, go to 200%. And then just everything else should be jamming range. Duration is a dump stat for sure. And yeah, it's good besides that, I guess. Now here's another thing. I said I was gonna mention some buffs for Xaku. I'd also say just change the passive to be damage reduction. Evasion is a terrible stat in this game. Make it so it's 25% damage reduction innately, and then when you have your 4 active, it's 75% damage reduction. Would that be a little bit OP? Possibly. But that sounds better than evasion, because evasion is basically a yes or no check of you getting destroyed. And in this gameplay, like, I basically need to reset my shield gating when I have that yes or no check turn into a no, and I don't find that very fun for Xaku. Maybe Xaku would be a little bit too tanky with an 75% DR while you're... Because the thing is, with this new rework of Xaku, your 4 will always be active if you're playing Xaku right. So... yeah, so I'd say the big draw of Xaku now is the Void guns. They are pretty good, honestly. Like, Xaku might still not be great, but the Void guns feel pretty powerful now, which I'm happy about. So, range, like I said, range, strength, your 2 main stats on Xaku, and duration. Like, I'd say, like, duration is a good stat to have, but unfortunately, the mod that gives you duration, narrow-minded, also reduces your range. Also, the mod that gives you power strength, transient fortitude, reduces your duration. So you're kind of in a problem spot either way, unless you run blind rage, which you potentially could run, but that'll also reduce your efficiency. And the energy costs for Xaku's abilities are already relatively high. The Lost, which is the 3rd ability, you will be casting that a bunch. That has 75 energy cost at base. And the 4th ability, the Great Untime, is 100% or is 100 energy cost at base. So it might be a little bit too much. With a Prime Flow at the rank that I have about 550 energy with Xaku. So maybe you could run negative efficiency, but I have not tried that out yet. But yeah, so like I said, my changes for Xaku, if I were to recommend them to DE, which if they watch my videos, hi. I'd say change the passive to damage reduction instead of evasion, because evasion sucks. Increase the cast speed, because I feel forced to run natural talent still. Increase the cast speed on everything again. Remove the Void Laser, because cycling between... having to remember which ability you're on with all of these 3 abilities is annoying enough, and the Void Laser, even after the buffs, is useless. The guns feel like they deal more damage than the Void Laser. And besides that, like, I feel like Xaku would be better in that situation. It'd be like a solo-ish frame, which can be a Beekeeper and a box opener. So if you look at it, Xaku has 2 jobs now. A Beekeeper, a box opener, and yeah, those are both pretty not important. I guess box opening is pretty important. You can you can afford a studio apartment with box opening. And beekeeping, it's not a super important job, at least in the Warframe universe, but hey, maybe it could be a niche situation in the future where you need to have some bees, you know? The Deimos, I already like the Deimos, and I said in my Deimos video, it would be cool if we could make it so the Deimos work with Xaku's 2 or 3, and here we go, and then I died. Yeah, maybe potentially running some Umbra mods would have made this a little bit better, but I'm not putting Umbra Form on Xaku unless they actually buff them up like one or two more times. If Xaku had innate DR, then Umbra mods would be sick, because then you'd have a big health pool. You do want power sling on Xaku, like I said, and I don't remember how much armor Xaku has. Let me check actually. And then maybe Umbral. Xaku has 137 armor at base. That is probably not enough really to run Umbral Fiber, but then again, it would increase the health and strength values of the other Umbra mods. So I guess you could run like an unranked Umbral Fiber if you had one of those sitting around. So yeah, that's basically how I feel about Xaku right now. There I go, dying 3 times in a row. Maybe I'm just not very used to playing Xaku, but yeah, I don't think that would have not happened on Saren Prime, that's for sure. That wouldn't have happened on Wukong Prime, that's for sure. That wouldn't have happened on any invisibility frame, that's for sure. So yeah, if you're gonna tout this as the community-designed Warframe, which by the way I didn't vote on any of those skills, this does not feel strong enough to be compared to Nova at all. Nova is a good community-designed frame. And I feel like Nova is like one of the favorite frames in the game. At least Nova Prime is my favorite Warframe. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know anyone that thinks Xaku is their favorite frame. And Xaku looks pretty cool too, so I think that they deserve some more personally. So hopefully they can do that for us. The gun steel feels better for sure, but yeah, like we can definitely do some better stuff. So D, if you're watching this, I appreciate you taking the feedback. These guns are cool. They look cool, at least. The Ogres, if the Ogres shot Void Rockets, wouldn't that be cooler, too? Also, yeah, one other thing. I don't like how you don't get to see your fashion frame when you're running on skeleton mode. I think this looks a lot cooler than that, but, you know, like, it's a design, artistic decision, so it's on you. Either way, guys, hope you found this video helpful. Talk to you next time, and, yeah, hope you're having more fun with Xaku now. I definitely am, so, peace.